Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Learn with Sahira. In this video, I am going to give you the complete and clear explanation of the poem A Different History by Sujata Bhatt from the language English of degree first year second semester. Watch the video till end, and if you are new to our channel Learn with Sahira, subscribe it for more videos and don't forget to share this video with your friends too. If you want the notes of all the subjects and languages whatever you are having in your group, you can text me on my Instagram. My Instagram ID is also Learn with Sahira. You will be getting the access for all subject and languages, important question and answers which are easy, simple and clear to understand. If you want, just DM me want notes. I will be giving you the access personally. Okay, I will be mentioning the link in this video description also. But note payment is must. Keeping this aside, let us get started with the complete and clear explanation of the summary of the poem A Different History by Sujata Bhatt. And whatever the question they might ask you in the examination, from this poem you have to write the same thing, summary. Okay, whatever the summary you are learning or you are going with, you have to keep that summary in your answer booklet. That's all. Not this answer or that answer, whatever the question it might be, you have to write the summary. So the first section in writing the summary will be about the poet or about the person who have written this poem. Okay, so poet is nothing but the person who writes the poem, right? So here we are writing about the poet. Who is the person who have written this A Different History poem? She is Sujata Bhatt. So whatever you learn about her or whatever you have heard about her, you can mention that points in this section. Okay, so let us get started with about the poet. Try to mention this about the poet Sujata Bhatt in the capital letters in your answer booklet. Okay, so let us get started. Indian origin poet, born in Ahmedabad 1956 and raised in Pune before migrating to United States and later settling in Germany. So Sujata Bhatt was born in India itself. Okay, she is Indian origin poet. She was born in Ahmedabad 1956. See, if you are bad at remembering the years or numbers, if you are bad at numbers, if you get confused between numbers, do not mention this birth years or death years. Okay, this will not affect that much on your answer. So if you are not good in the years, remembering the years, you please try to avoid this, writing the years in your answer booklet. Okay, if you are sure that yes this was the year, you can keep it in the answer booklet. If you are unsure, if you are getting confusion between the numbers, then please don't keep it, because keeping wrong numbers there will affect your answer and your marks. So don't make the numbers wrong in your answer booklet. Okay, so she was born in Ahmedabad and she was raised in Pune. After that she was migrated to United States, then later she was settled in Germany. Okay, so she is Indian origin poet. She is from India. She was born in India and she was raised in India. Okay, she is totally from India, but later she moved to America and settled in Germany. Okay, so she writes in English while weaving in her mother tongue Gujarati. I think you all know about the language Gujarati. I mean, what is the language Gujarati? I think you have heard about Gujarati. I'm not saying that you know Gujarati. I'm just saying you that you have heard about Gujarati. So her mother tongue is Gujarati, but she writes in English. Okay, she does everything in Gujarati, like weaving, like thinking about some particular thing, or doing about some particular thing, but she writes in English. Okay, exploring bhasha is nothing but language, pehchan is nothing but identity. Okay, so she writes in English but weaves in mother tongue Gujarati, exploring language and identity. Her common themes, or you can say that she is popular for, or her writings are well known for cultural dislocation. Cultural dislocation is nothing but moving out of our environment, or just leaving our country or going and settling in some other country. Like she is from India but later she settled in America or Germany, right? So she moved from one country to the other country. Her culture, or you can say her Sanskriti is completely different, but now she is in some completely different environment. So that is nothing but cultural dislocation. That is why it is dislocation. So the common themes which we can see in her writings are cultural dislocation, memory, colonial history. Colonial history is nothing but we used to have colonies at a period of time in our past years, right? Colonies used to be there. This part of one country used to be ruled by some people, or that part of the world used to be ruled by some other people. We were the colony of Britishers, right? British people have ruled us. So we can see that colonial history in her poems also, and the way languages carry or erase Sanskriti culture. So the languages, how the languages carry the culture, or that languages only will clear or erase the culture, we are going to see in her poems. Okay, not only this poem, maximum in her poems we will be seeing these themes. Award-winning voice in contemporary world poetry, celebrated for her clear, conversational style laced with sharp imagery. So you can write that she is one of the greatest Indian poets, like that. Whatever you want to write, you can mention. Okay, I have given here in the points so that it will be clear for you to understand. If not, you can write in the paragraphs as well. After writing about the poet, we need to write about the poem. About the poem, a different history. It is set in post-colonial India. The poem opens with the goddess Saraswati, symbol of learning, to stress the sacredness of knowledge. Okay, so it is totally set in the post-colonial India at that particular time. So the poem itself is in that particular time. Okay. So the poem opens with goddess Saraswati. I think you all know that Saraswati is known for learning or knowledge, right? She is regarded, or she is called as the god of knowledge. So here the poem opens with the goddess Saraswati, symbol of learning, to stress the sacredness of knowledge. It contrasts traditional Indian reference for books and nature with the linguistic invasion of English during British rule. Uses free verse, direct questions, and vivid images, books that are sacred in this room, to highlight the pain of cultural loss and the strange coexistence of two histories in one land. The poem tone shifts from gentle worship to questioning irony, how one can grow through a language that once oppressed. So here in the poem we will be seeing that how learning is sacred. Okay, and she will be using direct questions in the poem. Okay, the poem will be in free verse, like the poem will be flowing, but in between we will be seeing the questions. Okay, questions that are raised by the speaker itself. She will be using few vivid images like books that are sacred in this room. What is sacred? Sacred is nothing but that is connected to God, or which is related to God or religion, which is too special or too important. So that is nothing but sacred, right? So books are sacred here. She will be mentioning about learning or knowledge and sacredness, all that. Okay, so here it will be gentle worship. The poem tone, the poet's tone or poem's tone will be gentle worship, but later it will be turning into the questioning irony. She will be raising the questions that once a language was oppressed, now that language is growing, right? In the time of when the Britishers used to rule us, we used to hate the language English, right? Because the language English was like power. Okay, Britishers used to use the language English, right? So at that time English was the power, and that language once was oppressed by ourselves. But now you see, each and everyone, even the small children, talks in English. They talk in English. Even the poet is talking in English and writing in English. So that is why she is trying to say that once this language English was oppressed, but now that language English is on each and everyone's mouth. Okay, the people are using English, they are talking in English, they are listening English, so everything is going in English. But once upon a time that language was oppressed. So this is what it is about the poet and about the poem. After writing about the poet and poem, we need to go with the summary. So what we are going to write in the summary, but before seeing what is there in the summary, let us see that you have to subscribe our channel Learn with Sahira on YouTube for notes, explanation, important questions, paper pattern, presentations, and many more. Okay, if you didn't subscribe till now, please subscribe our channel Learn with Sahira. Now let us go with the summary. Let me just zoom it. Okay, so you can see here the poem begins in an Indian garden bathed in quiet respect. The speaker imagines the goddess Saraswati moving freely among trees, suggesting that in this space learning itself is sacred. Even the smallest act, like turning a page too roughly, would feel like a sin, for books are living beings here. Okay, so the poem starts, or the poet starts the poem with Indian garden. Okay, there is a Indian garden. How the garden will be? Greenery will be there, trees will be there, it will be fresh, clean, neat. So the poem starts with Indian garden bathed in quiet respect. Okay, there is quiet respect in that garden, and the speaker imagines the goddess Saraswati, knowledge, god of knowledge, Saraswati, moving freely among trees. As I said you, in the garden trees will be there. So here the speaker or the poet is imagining that the goddess Saraswati is freely moving among the trees, and she is suggesting that in this space learning itself is sacred. As I said you, the thing which is really very important, like in Hindi we will be saying that pavitra, like we will be saying like that, right? In Telugu also something like that, it will be pavitra, pavan. Yes, so that is what. So here the Saraswati is saying us, suggesting us that learning itself is sacred here. So even the smallest act like turning a page too roughly would feel like a sin, for books are living beings are here. So here what the poet is trying to say, that even if we turn the page too roughly, yes, whenever we are reading a book or whenever we are going with a book, if we turn the pages too roughly of that page also, that is like a sin, that is considered as a sin, guna hai wo. When we turn the page too roughly also, it is a sin for us. Here the books are considered, they are assumed as living beings. How the trees are living beings? Trees and plants are living beings, right? In the same way books are also living beings here in this place. So that is what the poem in the first stanzas try to say. But later the poem was going in free verse. Okay, it was going smoothly, but later the mood of the speaker will shift. The poet remembers that this same land once heard a different language imposed by colonizers. English, once an instrument of power, now flows easily from Indian Turks, including the poet's own. She marvels at this irony. A language that once silenced native voices is now cherished, nurtured, even loved. Okay, so this is what the poet is trying to say, that once upon a time the language English used to silence all the native voices. Native voices means what? All the voices which we talk or which we hear in our own place, in our surrounding, right? Here in the Telangana it is Telugu, right? In Hyderabad it will be Urdu, Telugu. Yes, all the languages, right? Telugu, Urdu, mostly here Telugu, Urdu, Hindi will be there in our Telangana. So but once upon a time when the Britishers used to rule us, the language English used to silence native voices. Okay, but now that language only, the language which once silenced our native voices, now it is cherished. Okay, it is loved now. So that is what the poet trying to say is that a different language, the language of the power, now is being cherished. In the next we will be saying that Bhatt's voice becomes questioning, almost accusatory. She asks whether we can ever use English innocently when it killed so many mother tongue dreams. Is speaking it a betrayal, or is it proof of India's ability to absorb and transform whatever comes her way? Okay, so what the poets do now, the poet starts to question, okay, in a very strong voice. With a very strong voice, the poet tries to question that. She asks whether we can ever use English innocently. Okay, we are using the language English, even the small children talks in English, as I mentioned before. But that language English only have killed many mother tongue dreams. Yes or no? Mother tongues, the native voices, as we have discussed here, it have silenced many native voices. So here the poet is trying to say that thing only, that English have killed so many mother tongues, but also it is being cherished and loved now. Is speaking it a betrayal, means dhoka dena hai kya wo, that she is trying to say like that. Betrayal. Okay, or is it proof that whatever it comes or whatever it happens, India have a ability to absorb it. Like when we pour some water onto the ground or on the ground, that ground will absorb, right? So whatever it comes on India, will India absorb and transform whatever comes in her way? That is what the poet is trying to say. Okay, once that language have killed many mother tongues, but now it is being cherished. Is it a betrayal, or is it a proof that India's ability to absorb and transform whatever comes her way? Not only language, whatever it comes, the India has the ability to absorb it. So in the final lines, the poem leaves us in a delicate balance, honor every word you utter, for words carry histories of kindness and cruelty alike. In that awareness lies the possibility of a kinder, different history, one where languages coexist without conquest and where turning a page in an act of gentle remembrance rather than forgetful progress. Okay, this is what it is. But let us see that what different history says. Okay, if you want to just leave this final lines, you can leave, because that final lines we are going to just have a look here. Okay, I have written some extra. This part what you are seeing is taken from each and every line of the poem. Okay, this is what the summary, or this is the glimpse of the poem, whatever we have learnt in the poem. But here each and every line what it says. Okay, the poem tells us that the world is full of different cultures and histories that have mixed together over time. Things like spices, pepper, cinnamon, cloves came from faraway lands and traveled across seas and roads to different countries. They become part of those places and their cultures. Okay, you can see that the spices come from many different places and they become a part of those places and their cultures. Okay, wherever the spices come, that spices will become that place part. Okay, just like these spices, people's histories and identities are not separate or pure. They are mixed and connected with many others. Our past is made up of many stories from different lands and we share these stories with each other. Yes or no? That is true. We share these stories with each other and we have many different stories, right? That is why the name itself is a different history. We have different histories. Okay, different histories, different identities. We are not separate or pure. Okay, we all are together. The poem wants us to understand that no one's history stands alone. Everyone's story is connected to others in some way. This mixing of cultures and histories make us who we are. Yes or no? This mixing of cultures and histories only will make us who we are. Okay, we can't be a part of only a single particular place. In the end, the poem encourages us to be proud of this diversity and shared history because it is our strength. It teaches us to appreciate and celebrate how different cultures come together to create a richer and more interesting world. Yes, that is really very true. Yes, being the part of India, we have to be proud of our India, our country. Yes, being the citizens of India, but also we have to be respectful with different cultures and different histories. Okay, so all the histories come together and they will make us who we are. So this is what we are seeing in this lesson, whatever they have given, I mean this poem. Okay, this is not lesson, this is poem. So the conclusion, in the conclusion you can write, but urges readers to respect every language yet remember the wants of colonization. Okay, she is not saying that you should be disrespectful with any language. Now as she says, once the language was oppressed, now it is being cherished, but she don't say that you please don't talk in English or you don't cherish the language English. She herself is writing in English, right? But what she is saying that you have to respect every language, but also you have to remember what had happened in the colonization, or at that time she is saying that she shows that adopting a foreign tongue need not to erase one's root if we stay conscious of history. Okay, as we are the people of India, we have our own culture, our own history. Going to some other country and being there but forgetting about our own root is wrong. Yes, we are from India, right? We are having our own culture and our own history. We have to respect other also, but we should not forget about our roots. The poem is a call for cultural humility. Treat words, books, trees, and by extension each culture with reverence, not violence. Ultimately, it champions a different history where past pains inform a more empathetic, inclusive future. So whatever you have learnt from this poem summary, you can mention that points also here. If you want to write in the points, you can go with the points. As I said you, if you want to write in the paragraph, you can write in the paragraph also. So this was the summary of the poem, The Different History by Sujata Bhatt. How was the poem? You let me know in the comment section, and subscribe our channel Learn with Sahira for more videos. For notes, you can text me there on my Instagram. Okay, see you all in the next video. Bye bye.